PkMnPanda, always a pleasure to have you on the cast. And
you.
Well, we've seen a lot of very interesting things, and me and you were talking pretty specifically about if Bilibili finds themselves down early and find themselves in a hole, will they be able to recompose themselves and get back involved? We will jump on board with Shy first and foremost. We'll take a look to see if that bubble management is there. He's not dropped one yet, but again, looking to find himself charged up. Will finally put one onto his main frontliner of Over, who does get stunned, but actually gets found way out of position. Fortunately, there are some supports nearby, but he is getting focused out pretty hard. He's still staying alive, just narrowly. No eliminations yet. Songboo's trying to make his way back into the fight. Shy up to 100% charge. That's what you want to see. And more than that, it looks like Bilibili will sustain themselves on the point to keep this fight going. Just comes down to when the first elimination will come through. Point was going the way of Bilibili's initially, but not able to find anything, and it will actually be the early Earthshatter coming out of Fearless. Not able to lock any players down with it, though. VK in a little bit of trouble as well. Bilibili will open the point, and there will be a soft reset here from CC to re-engage.
Yeah, Earthshatter was used to no avail too, but it's a good reset. Bilibili Gaming doing a good job. Recognize Team CC have the 3-2-1. They have to give respect to the Sombra because of that. The EMP is very massive.
It will be the EMP coming through for Song Boost. Mango Jai also has himself a Transcendence, but Coldest was able to get his out first for Bilibili. So again, able to sustain through this, and a lot of capture percentages coming through. VK now with the Graviton Surge. There's no Transcendence here. Shy has to counter with the Graviton Surge of his own. No elimination still. No one has fallen yet in all of this fight. Absolutely insane to see. Sound barrier for both teams being utilized. Still no eliminations as they continue to go neck and neck. But again, all of this time is favoring Bilibili as they keep dancing around this pillar, and it's still 6-on-6 action. Everyone's staying alive. Billy now up to 40% plus capture. Self-destruct sequence coming through. We'll find one. That's our first elimination. And with CO falling, it'll likely be BLG pushing on forward with their little advantage of the support line.
And normally when you talk about the normal 3-3 composition, when you lose one piece of the puzzle, they all crumble. And especially when you're all running the Sombra 3-2-1, losing CO there was absolutely it was critical. 60% now over to Bilibili Gaming. Team CC need to get support ultimates out of Bilibili Gaming before they can make a full impact with EMP.
Keep your eye on VK, though. He's got his Graviton Surge. Maybe not even needing it. Again, without the other Zarya being here from Shy, this is all just confirmed damage going the way of Team CC. And it looks like that 5-on-5 battle will favor our team represented in white here, and they will eventually flip this point. But it comes at the cost of 76% plus. That's absolutely a massive first start for Bilibili.
Yeah, they need a... starting to play this flawlessly, don't they? I mean, they're going to be able to walk back in with sound, with the Transcendence sound barriers about to be coming online, one of which needs to be dedicated towards the EMP. One of them needs to be dedicated towards the Graviton Surge. There's no bigger bang combo, but if they dedicate the sound barrier later on in the road and they get this Transcendence out early, it's going to be unfortunate. It's still not up, and the hack comes through. They take the shield out too, so that's going to be massive. They disengage, and that's what Bilibili's been able to do time and time again. Every time that a hack comes through, they just disengage fully, and then reinitiate into the fight.
Honestly, though, really happy that Song Boost didn't overcommit the EMP there as VK's Graviton Surge was fading away. Did not feel confident in his damage. You can see he's not even glowing up, so he's still below about that 50% charge mark. Without that damage, there may not have been the follow-up needed, so Team CC playing very disciplined. Over looking for a way to recontest. We'll draw that line in the sand on point. Does have an Earthshatter. Looking for a way to potentially use it, but now comes the rally with the EMP. Team CC looking to get aggressive. Sound barrier does get off for Bilibili, but it's not going to make a difference. Team CC has already found the majority of the front line, and it looks like it's going to be a hold. Team CC now up 60% plus.
What a great conditioning tactic there from Team CC. VK uses the Graviton Surge. The entire team of Bilibili Gaming, they just disengage with Transcendence. That's a one fight already waiting to happen. So Mika had to use Sound Barrier to keep them alive in the middle of the fight. Well, bam, there comes the EMP. Great adaptive playstyle coming from Team CC, recognizing their openings and their win conditions in the middle of this fight. But Bilibili Gaming are coming prepared. They haven't used many resources in that last fight, and here comes the Graviton Surge. They're about to have bomb.
You need to win this fight, though, if you're Bilibili. A lot of resources being dumped into it. As you can see, the Graviton Surge self-destruct sequence, not able to find anything as Mango Jai was able to get himself a nice Transcendence through. Over, looking for an Earthshatter, but BK was able to farm up a Graviton Surge and then take down Shy. And more than that, Mango Jai able to leave popping off. And now with the Sound Barrier and support, Team CC are looking to close things off here on Shrine. They're at 98%. It's going to be in overtime, but again, the numbers and the charge for BK just too good. And it looks like Bilibili, we had some question marks, and well, LaFon said he had some inkling suspicions that this one could potentially go the distance, and so far Team CC look like they're going to start things off in their favor as soon as they can clean things up. Overtime will fade away. Team CC currently up 1-0 on Nepal.
Fantastic work from them. Again, that adaptive playstyle paying dividends. I mean, we talked about VK as being one of the more standout off tanks at the beginning of the season. That was all off of their diva play, and that was when they weren't showing up in kill feed. Well, cool. You show a particle beam cannon in the arms of VK. Now that definitely shows through. And what this all enables is the DPS selection from Song Boost. You can see as we load into Village now, Shift hovering over the Mei, they're taking full advantage of the terrain of this entire map, whether it's the EMP standing on point or the lack of open area from Shrine. Now it's going to be the lockdown situation here on to Village. It's great adaptive playstyle coming through from Team CC. And let's not forget, on Nepal, they did take a stage off of a very dominant LGE Huya. This is when they were most tested. So learning from all that, taking advantage of the current patch of where they can find their openings, they're doing a great job of that so far. Bilibili Gaming, they need to play more sustained. They're over-investing support ultimates when they don't necessarily need to, and falling succumb to a lot of damage to VK's particle beam cannon.
Take an eye to see where this Weiss wall will come through. Bilibili, they understand what could potentially happen if they overcommit or don't commit fully together. They're actually going to try to split this, and the wall will just block everybody off. The point opening up here in just a second. Bilibili is still able to contest it for a small time, but Team CC have found the first elimination. That's on Yakumo, so 6-on-5 action in front of us. And if you're Bilibili, you don't want to give this up for free, but you also don't want to get staggered. A great wall coming through for Song Boost once again. Is there damage to punish? And it looks like there may not be completely, as it looks like Bilibili will just be able to back up just in time. But again, Team CC in control first.
Yeah, and they're going to be able to take full advantage again, not getting a lot of ultimate charge onto the main, and that's what Bilibili Gaming again has been able to do. They're disengaging very timely, but you can only get away with that for so long until Team CC is able to lock down 1 or 2 of Bilibili Gaming, get those bubbles out from Shy early on, and then you can just pile on the freeze. Let's not forget that Mei can freeze multiple targets if they're all stacked on top of each other, and that's what you see right here, the great lockdown in this kitchened area.
And oh my goodness, the Ice Blaster doing so much work here for Song Boost, and the Transcendence, it will be utilized, and that's actually huge value for Team CC. Urshander coming through for Fearless, will stun a couple. Again, just delaying Bilibili from getting out of this close quarters engagement, which is the last place you want to be, like you mentioned, up against the Mei. Icicles just piercing through that particle barrier, and now a Blizzard ready to go. And you have to feel like if you're Bilibili, you need to eat this. If you're Zijin, Song Boost about ready to move here in. We're looking for a way to see if anyone will even be able to contest this. Team CC just holding everybody out of the back, but it will be an Urshander coming through. Will stun out Songboost, but BK able to start things off. The Graviton Surge, now the Blizzard behind it, and the Transcendence, and Bilibili are falling apart again. All of our concerns that were happening with T1W the last time we saw Bilibili are coming into fruition here against Team CC.
Yeah, again, over-investing their ultimates and not finding any value in the support ones at that. They have to recognize when they have their openings. Zijin is having a very slow-paced matchup, not looking that comfortable with the defense matrix, which is not really a conversation that would have all the way until the previous week. Both Shy and Zijin are using their resources a little bit too early in these engagements. You have to hold on to that passive bubble or the defense matrix when your teams are in trouble. So now Bilibili Gaming, they have to hard engage onto the point, and they have absolutely nothing. They're about to have a bomb. This Transcendence might get snuffed out because Seo has a sound barrier to match it.
Another nice wall coming through. Song Boost will just go right into the front line and start freezing up the front line, and that's exactly who falls first. Over, down, sound barrier utilized. Transcendence is going to fade away here from Bilibili, and no one will be left standing. This is going to be a clean 100-0. Team CC will be starting things off very nicely with the 1-0 lead. And, well, I would say consider us surprised, but I don't think we were all that surprised. Team CC, not a team to shy away from. And, well, I got to get your opinion, speaking of Shy, of what you thought of the Zarya player from Bilibili off the rip here.
I started hinting it at the end of that map, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap back around to that point, too. It's not just Shy, it's also Zijin. The resource management as a whole for Bilibili Gaming is just very lackluster. They're throwing out bubbles way too early. Look, if you're facing off against a Sombra, you're facing off against a Mei, even if you're just in 3-3 alone and that Brigitte is on the field, you have to be wary of these facts. You get just as much value out of playing for the cleanse. I feel like a broken record at this point. I'm always saying this almost every other week now about Zarya's. You have to play for the cleanse. You get just as much charge, and you're able to then turn that charge back into damage, as you know, Zarya does work like that, and you're able to find a lot of frontline pressure. That's where we saw VK able to do it, but it's all because of the well-oiled machine that we saw from the lockdown of the walls from Song Boost, or the hacks even found too. Every time that there was just one target locked down, whether it was from the wall or the hack, they were just rolling over top of them. But as far as Bilibili Gaming is concerned, they need to watch out for that tempo. It's a very aggressive style and need to act accordingly to it. Where they started out the beginning of the season and where we know Over as a very aggressive main tank is getting bodied in the neutral by Fearless, so they need to take a step back. You have to look for these tempoed engagements and what is most available to you and act accordingly. You can't play the aggressor in that situation. You have to be a little bit more passive. You have to be a little bit more composed.
So for Billy, moving forward, again, this was at least my biggest concern as we were talking about these teams previous, was the fact that once they get down, can they recompose themselves? We've seen nothing but the traditional 3-3 coming out of them so far. I mean, I think you hit it nicely when it comes down to the resource management, but there's got to be more to consider as, again, as we take a look at some of the replays that have happened from this last point. I mean, again, just how long this first fight happened without an elimination has to be very frustrating, and this is not something that Bilibili has come up against up until their last week of regular season. They've been rolling through literally everybody until they went up against T1W. They'd only lost one map previously. Since that one map loss, they've now lost 5 maps straight. This is not, again, what we would have anticipated whatsoever from Bilibili.
No, it is not at all, too. But if you caught up with the local scene, especially in this specific area, you would know that CC also 2-0'd Bilibili Gaming in the next series. So when you're looking at those kind of things, I think this just comes down to the patch. This is them taking full advantage of the lockdown and the effects, and more or less just catching every member of Bilibili Gaming in a very inopportune moment.
Indeed. But we'll be heading over to map 2 in just a little while. We'll send things to a short little break and be back. Team CC again up 1-0 on Bilibili. Map 2 when we come back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We have map 2 on deck for you coming through. It will be Blizzard World. Again, Team CC finding themselves, I won't say an easy, but at least a convincing 2-0 on Nepal. Moving into Blizzard World, obviously a different realm here as we go into it with the hybrid style. Bilibili 2-0 in this map, but more importantly here, Panda, they were able to take care of their opponent, Team CC, in the NEXT Cup just a little bit ago on this map.
Yeah, it was 5-4-2, which if you haven't had time in that 2-minute break to speed through it, then you would know that it was pretty close. And with that being said, you have to be aware of these situations too. We had a lot of banter in between the break here, between casters and even producer, giggling to it as well. It's just how you can't just walk in and auto-focus a target, which is what we're seeing from Bilibili Gaming. You find yourself more or less caught down without anything to fight back against, and that's when you're really going to be opened up. We need to see Over play a little bit more of this aggressive style. He looks better on Winston. He needs to be enabled, and it's interesting to see why they're not trying to force that out. It's just Rien goats across the board, both defense and offense, but MangoJ is going to be flexing over to that Ana, so if they land a biotic grenade here, Shift, it's going to turn the fight very quickly. But you gotta reload eventually.
Yeah, Song Boost already near full charge. Doesn't look to be the same case here for Shy, but Team CC is getting battered up pretty heavily here as both VK, Song Boost, and Fearless actually taking a lot of the thwart of this damage, and really nice zoning here from Billy, forcing everybody from Team CC back underneath that small underpass and away from the point. That's going to instantly be a capture without much contest whatsoever. All it took was taking Fearless down, and Bilibili are starting to steamroll forward.
Yeah, with Team CC now on the full composition of Rien goats, the Ana not really finding much value with the biotic grenade getting eaten by Zijin. Good defensive matrix play on their part. But what you'll notice is the Earth Shatter charge from Fearless to Over. Fearless really struggled on the shield management in the neutral, where Over was able to maintain a lot more shield as walking up, using the terrain very effectively, and just found a lot more space and cleave yet available. So MangoJ has the nano boost available here, Shift, expected to go over to Fearless to gain advantage here, but tries very quick to charge his grab. Good Earth Shatter from Over.
Over able to start things off really nicely, and that nano boost equated to absolutely nothing. Doesn't help when your main tank is sitting on the ground shattered up, so even that little boost of HP and damage not gonna come through. And Billy smoking things off, and at some point if you're Team CC you need to swap over. They will put MangoJ from the Ana to the Zenyatta, but would you like to see them pull out the Sombra? I mean, this mismatch is looking pretty convincing so far.
I feel like you almost have to at this point, but the ultimate charge, they have combo walking in here, Shift, so don't expect it all the way until third. They need to cycle through here so VK can swap over to the Zarya as well. Bilibili Gaming have their own combo too, and we're going to see some Graviton Surges almost getting mirrored the second that this one's over.
Transcendence also being utilized for both teams. Now it's going to be the Graviton Surge for Shy. No follow-up really here yet. Self-destruct goes behind, though. No one's able to track it down. Song Boost and MangoJai fall to Zijin. Self-destruct. And now Shy at nearly full charge can just chew through the mech and the support line. He'll take it. Everyone falls just so quickly. And that's going to be the second stage in rapid succession here for Bilibili.
I wonder why CO didn't invest the sound barrier in the beginning of that fight, too. Would have oversustained them. Mika able to hold on to theirs, so that's going to be an advantage. Team CC not swapping. They're actually going to get split spawned here. Bilibili Gaming are winning this neutral warfare, especially when it's 3-3 versus 3-3. And I think that answers your question, Shift, that you almost have to at that point. You have to force the 3-2-1. You have to make Bilibili Gaming into forced errors so that way Team CC can win in the neutral. Fearless needs that extra help in a way. Not saying that they're struggling here, but they're not really finding a lot of spacing off of the bubbles from Song Boost and the openings available because Bilibili Gaming are just able to walk forward and use the terrain very well. They never have shield. Fearless never has enough shield for these engagements. It's always getting pushed around by Mika.
This poke and prod moment is actually really big for Team CC. They have yet to fight on their terms, and they will not be able to start off this initiation either, as will be Bilibili stomping on through MangoJai just a little bit late to the Transcendence to keep Fearless up. Over now with the Shatter. There is no shield in the way. Later, JWJ, have yourself a fun respawn, and this is going to be Team CC just absolutely faltering. But again, Panda, it's just been the simple fact that Team CC has yet to fight on their terms.
This is the true struggle of running the Grandma Goats, the Ana 3-3, if you will, on the first. You are off-tempoed with your support ultimates, never find a true footing. CO and MangoJai have yet to be fully comboing, or I guess defending against them with their ultimates. Graviton Surge now. Shy finds nothing.
Be careful. Over very low, has to put the shield down, but it's actually the counter grab from Song Boost able to help find two. So now finally Team CC able to win themselves a very much needed team fight, as they were just 2 meters away from completing the map with quite a hefty time bank too, mind you. Still over 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So now Team CC essentially even when it comes down to the ultimate economy, looking to give themselves an advantage here.
This is where teams really struggle too. 3 minutes, 30 seconds on the board. Bilibili Gaming have to start building up to their next Graviton Surge. They have to more or less win this fight as if it's Assault's second capture point here, Shift. It's going to be really difficult because MangoJai does have the Transcendence. They can use this very aggressively to answer against Bilibili Gaming's rally. Unless they don't need to. You see the disengage. Arm is going to go away soon enough.
Take a look to see what also possibly utilize Bilibili, just looking for an opportunity to move on in or force out that Transcendence. Like you mentioned, they're also holding on to one of their own. Over, not able to find much with the Earth Shatter here, and will be stunned, and now the Transcendence is forced just to keep him alive, and he's even still falling a little bit low from here. Team CC have themselves a little bit of an advantage, as they are going to be getting the rally up, and now the Transcendence also coming through. VK will throw the self-destruct sequence overhead. Team CC, though, have lost their main frontliner in Fearless, so an opportunity for Bilibili with numbers to move on through, and Shy is very close to a Graviton Surge, which could just be win condition here for the map, waiting for the defense matrix to fade away very nicely, able to take one out of the mech, and that'll be enough to find the full eat. Oh, actually, the eat coming through for Zijin as well, so Bilibili, they should have an advantage here to clean things up. The sound barrier does get utilized for Team CC, but it's in desperation. Zijin overhead with the nice double on the self-destruct sequence, and now you just push forward and try to clean things up, zone everybody away from the payload. Bilibili should surely be able to push this one through if their target prioritization is good enough. Little stun coming through, and that'll be enough for Bilibili to clean things up and to complete the map.
Zijin's having a hell of a match here today on Blizzard World Shift, eating so much, shutting down the Ana 3-3 beginning of that match, or the match rather, with the grenade being eaten and then the Graviton Surge. If Song Boost landed that Graviton, would have been a good turning point for CC in that fight.
Indeed. This is a different look, though, so far for Bilibili. I mean, everything's looking extremely solid for them comparatively to what we just saw previously in Nepal. But again, I had to hit the key concept. Is it just the simple fact that Bilibili does better against their own mirror comps of 3-3, or at least the GOAT-centric comps, not having to go up against a Mei or a Sombra? Is that simply where the kind of linchpin is for the success of this team?
Well, gonna need a little bit more eyes in the sky, too. I mean, I'm gonna have to see how LaFon feels about it, too. I definitely think so, but I'm gonna have to see how my man feels about it.
Honestly, I think it's bad scouting from Team CC here. I don't know why you open up with the Ana there. You know they're gonna start with the 3-3. You know they're gonna start with Standard. That is what BLG has literally done the entire season. Have we seen them in any other composition throughout? I don't think so. I feel like CC kind of just dropped the ball there, quite literally, and give away the map. BLG, one thing we haven't had issues with them the entirety of the season has been in the mirror matchup. They have been the better team every single time. They have never looked weaker in a true 3-3 matchup. It's when you start throwing wrenches in the works, right? You throw a Sombra or a Mei, that's when, you know, BLG starts to struggle. So I feel here for CC, they win essentially one team fight in that entire map. Sure, the time bank may not reflect it, but it definitely wasn't a good look for Team CC. I think there too, we got to give credit to, I think there to Over, looking a lot more aggressive on the entryway Fearless, not really having the same opportunity to shine.
All right, well, we'll switch the sides. Thank you, LaFon, very much. And now it's up to Team CC. It was 2 minutes and 15 seconds in the bank, though, Panda. A pretty considerable time here for Blizzard World. But for Bilibili, they've done a really good job of holding most of their opponents just to this first point. We'll see if they can find some success. It will be Song Boost in the Sombra to open things up.
Yeah, your love for Spy Goats is coming back here. IHOLDSHIFT, Song Boost.
Love it.
Now on the Sombra, able to probably find a lot more value here on attack than on defense. Translocator out. Very aggressive style here that they're playing. Kind of an homage to LG Huya, if you will, for Haker. But, you know, the way that you play it on defense wouldn't be as much value. It's very difficult to find any sort of value on Sombra because Translocator can get snuffed out. You're very far away and leaving your team in a more 5v6 than you are right now, too. So it really just comes down to finding value in these hacks, getting pressure on the point, which Team CC does to get Bilibili Gaming off the high ground.
And Mika actually was almost taken down in the 1v1 versus Song Boost. No one helping out until the repair pack was finally committed to it. Now a little bit over-aggressive coming in for Bilibili. Not quite able to take down VK or Fearless, who were low. Will the reset, get over shield back to full HP, and try to fight once more. Ultimates are building close. You take a look at the support of Team CC. Both supports are actually pretty close to getting their ultimates online, which could be what they need to push through. Fearless, though, again, getting poked out so hard, and Over's just itching for an opportunity to dive on into this front line.
Yeah, you can just see. It's poke and prod here, which is going to go in favor of Team CC. They're able to find a lot more space, and Cleave, they already have a Transcendence and an EMP. It's just about finding in here. Coldest needs to hide. He needs to be ready for it. Big EMP. Good reaction.
Just finds 4, but not Coldest, so the Transcendence is committed. They need to find VK, though. He does not have a Graviton Surge yet. If he can find it, it would be free, but they're able to take down Fearless, and looks like Team CC are not going to be able to fully commit to this fight with that main Reinhardt being down. Shy, will he look for more with potentially the Graviton Surge just to soak people away? It looks like no. It'll just be right clicks from here on out to push people back, and that's good value because this is extra time to try to get Mika the Sound Barrier. He's still not quite there yet.
They got the rally and the trance out, so if VK needs to walk forward, find this Graviton Surge, over sustain Fearless, you can even invest an Earth Shatter into it as well. Good isolation onto Fearless, however, from VK. Sound Barrier utilized her ability to sustain through it, and they take down VK immediately. Self-destruct sequence on the point will also find 2. Zijin has found doubles off of his self-destruct time and time again, literally becoming the hero in these late fights that could go either way. Bilibili will push back once again, 1 minute and 30 and change, really just to defend left on this first point. Sio's having a very off game to me. You can always counter the self-destruct with Sound Barrier if you get it off in time, and that's the answer to the combo when you are playing this 3-2-1 versus the 3-3 of Bilibili Gaming. And that's just a very off play, in my opinion. Though they're getting the EMP here, and they will have ult economy walking into this fight. If they do it in quick enough time before Coldest, if they hack Coldest before they EMP, that's where they're going to be able to find value. Song Boost needs to look for that isolation onto the Zenyatta of Bilibili Gaming. They are winning off of their support ultimates alone.
Take a look here, as you will see Over with the Nurse Shatter, Sia with the Sound Barrier. You already mentioned the EMP for Team CC being charged up so close. Song Boost just poking from a distance. Almost already there. Will it be a translocator up top? Sure will be. Here it is. EMP right on out. Is able to find 4 again, but not Coldest, who's able to get the Transcendence, but this time they punish onto Over. The Sound Barrier will be committed for Team CC to get over aggressive just to try to find a way to clean up some more eliminations. Back up to the high grounds goes Billy. They're not giving this fight up yet, as they still will have Over coming back with an Earth Shatter. If they can allow this to stagger for a little bit longer, keep this in contest, he might just be able to get back in time. Although Shy does not quite have that Graviton Surge, and they need this if they want to try to find a way to win. He has it charged. Here it comes. Shy able to get down a lot of damage, but it's not enough to sustain through. His Mango Giant is able to commit the Transcendence to this. Over with the Earth Shatter will not be able to find enough. Team CC will clean up the fight, but Billy, they gave themselves a chance, and it comes just before the overtime. So that will be Team CC completing at least the first stage for now.
Mango J and VK just got their ultimates and used them
so close
as cooldowns too there. That was incredibly close, but it was a great Graviton Surge. Because Bilibili Gaming didn't find value in getting the bomb enough time to combo along with the Graviton Surge, they were able to punish them because they had to find cleave damage to kill the Graviton Surge, and VK just turned that back on its head after Mango J just got the Transcendence in time, and Team CC find themselves yet ahead. They can walk forward under Rally here, Shift, and get a quick shield bash. And Fearless could land this Earth Shatter. It's going to be their tempo. Bilibili Gaming actually had to overinvest because of the combo there at the end of it. They're not even having a rally. They have the self-destruct, but they can invest with it. Coldest catches out Song Boost. That's actually massive.
No EMP charged up, and Team CC have to head for the hills here. And they will be able to get away successfully, so it's not as punishing as maybe it could have been if you're looking at it from the perspective of Bilibili, but at least it allows some of their frontliners to start developing more of that ultimate charge. Again, over just above 20% and Shy just above 40. Still waiting for Mika to get a sound barrier as well. They need these tools and they want to try to counter this EMP.
Yep, just a little bit of poke, gets the EMP, about to have the translocator up. Songboost is fishing for it, man. Bilibili Gaming, however, has shut down 2 EMPs with Transcendence again. Gets a fat one, Coldest again!
Able to just avoid the line of sight for it, and now the Earthshatter from Fearless, it blocks down a couple of players. Coldest, he's lost his Transcendence, but the sound barrier comes through in the nick of time for Mika. Now it's Bilibili getting arrested. Self-destruct sequence, we've seen it be successful before. It'll be successful again as CO gets taken down. Transcendence coming out for Team CC. They do not want to get this one up yet, and they're actually able to win this one back pretty considerably. A couple of low health pulls here. The rally will be committed here for Bilibili to try to sustain through it. Songboost, not enough damage in the tank for him to do any work, and it looks like he will be chased down by Yakumo. Surely that's a 1v1 that Yakumo wins, and it looks like it will, but it was close. Team CC was just about to pull that fight back.
Missed the whip shot, but still able to classic M1 Brigitte level 1 super them. And Bilibili Gaming now find themselves at a very clear-cut advantage. They are hard reading Team CC. They have fully conditioned them. Songboost has to more or less play a different style and always find Coldest and where they're hiding for this Transcendence because they have it and they're lapping them time and time again. Songboost, for the first time in this entire map, has EMP before Transcendence. Here it comes.
And it finds all 6. Here's the opportunity that Team CC need, but they lose Fearless. So is there enough frontline pressure for them to get going? VK does not have a lot of damage built up as he's only at 36% charge. And it looks like Bilibili will be able to at least soft reset and then recontest for the last point here of stage 2. And they'll be able to come back through with a couple of ultimates. The biggest key here, Panda, though, is that VK will have a Graviton Surge. Shy is nowhere near his.
Yeah, and Shy not having the Graviton Surge is actually massive. They have been finding value in their combinations here, Shift. Not having the bigger bang combo is going to be unfortunate for them. Coldest has to invest the Transcendence here.
DK with the early Graviton Surge coming through. Fearless has an Earthshatter as well. He will drop it. Doesn't really find much. Coldest, as you mentioned, Transcendence fading away. Mika not quite there to a sound barrier. No eliminations yet, so Billy doing a nice job of sustaining themselves through here. Need to stay on that objective in overtime. You're exactly right. Songboost desperately trying to get an EMP just about the 90% mark. Over and Shy have the ultimates though, and it locks players in place. Is there enough damage from him?
Songboost is dead.
Oh, and now looking for one more. The Earthshatter gets dropped in. It does find CO. Songboost dropping, like you mentioned, no EMP. Billy just needed to clean up the fight, and it looks like they will be able to hold on to stage 2. They've been good on this map in the past, making sure teams don't get past the second stage. They'll do so here again. Bilibili able to draw things up 1 map apiece.
Whether you mean to do it or not, it was actually a very high-level play from Shy. Popping that personal bubble, stepping in the middle of a Graviton Surge, cutting off the Transcendence in between members from the LOS of the bubble. Not many people know that that happens, but that's exactly what happened, and you're able to find a lot of combo and burst damage. Shy had so much charge in that final fight shift, just off of sheer grit and aggression alone, able to turn that fight back on its head. Really good job from Bilibili Gaming. When it comes down to 3-3 and recognizing when they have the 5v6 available, they always push the advantage. But that Graviton Surge play and that bubble management from Shy in that final moment was the highest level I've seen from them in the past 2 weeks.
Well, let's bring back in LaFon to get his take as far as how this iteration of the Sombra kind of spy goats went through for Team CC and what Bilibili was able to do to respond to it so well.
I think this time though it's again not Bilibili responding to it, and it's more Songboost just okay. If you have if you throw the translocator in every single time and you EMP right after, Coldest was laughing all the way. Like he's like, I'm not even really hiding. I'm just sort of sitting in a general area where Zens play, and you're going so obviously into the engagement that you know, you're not going to find any value. If you look at a Sombra that's really, really good in Haker, he's always going into an EMP differently. Sometimes he'll throw the translocator. Sometimes he'll feint it out. Sometimes he'll just walk into the middle, decloak, and use it then. And I think here for Songboost, not only is he getting picked off first, but he's doing the same play over and over again. And Coldest is like, I built trans faster than anyone else in the region, as we have the highlights come through. And I think here, you know, we talked Fearless up a big deal here, but Over, I think he must have heard us because he also had some fantastic play in this particular set, and a lot of it comes down to the fact that they're able to play around their DPS, or sorry, around their sustain options a little bit better compared to the DPS that CC is running. One thing is, in the neutral fights, when you're not running the Sombra, what you have is you have better engage because you have more HP. You simply do. You have the Diva, right? So you can go through, you deny more damage coming in, you have more aggression. And I think for BLG that they don't do that on the first point, but they definitely do it on the second point. And that is a big reason why they're taking that 1-all into the half.
Yeah, if you don't have the hack that goes off, if Coldest continuously catches out Song Boost, which is why he was playing with the team in those final moments, you're not finding value, and you're leaving your team in that proverbial 5v6 that I'm talking about. And because LaFon said, you have more HP, you're going to win out those fights in the neutral regardless. As long as the resources are based around over in that aggressive state, you're going to win in the neutral. And it's, again, a good recognition that Song Boost isn't taking full advantage of the Sombra hero and the entire kit.
I think definitely another thing to add too, just before, is that for the first time in this matchup, and I think for the first time in about 3 weeks, Bilibili is actually playing to their strength. They're playing aggressively. One of the things is they tried to play passively on Nepal, and that really cost them. I think this is a team that thrives on aggression. It thrives on fragging, essentially, and the fact that they're playing to their strengths rather than to what they think is the supposed best play is actually a better thing. It's not like in the previous series where DPS was run, because they think DPS is their strength. They're still playing the strong composition, but now you have to play the style that fits you better. And I think now on Blizzard World, Bilibili definitely did that.
Well, how about this, guys? Again, one of the biggest pop-off moments we saw from Bilibili was that aggressive playstyle also enabling Zijin to find routine, high-value self-destruct sequence. That was something we saw zero of throughout Nepal, and it just, I think you hit it nicely, LaFon. That aggressive playstyle has allowed all of that distraction to where Zijin can throw a self-destruct in the back, and no one seems to be ready for it.
I think this time, though, you have to give Shy credit. On Nepal, he had a really weak map. There's no other way to put it. He had a bad map. That's all you can say about Nepal for him. But I think on Blizzard World, he stepped it up, and that gave Zijin so much more space because he's not having to defend all the time. Now he can make plays, and Zijin is one of the better off-tanks in China right now. I think you can definitely make that argument. And, you know, whether it's the deny on the Graviton Surge into the self-destruct kill, or you see him just get this vanilla-style self-destructs, clearly the fact that Shy is stepping up to take some of the responsibility is giving Zijin the playmaking ability. And I think this is where BLG really shines, is when everyone is performing. They don't really have any true carries on this team, I don't think. They're, aside from Coldest perhaps, but in general, it's across the board they play well, and that's why they succeed.
Well, that will tie things up at 1 apiece. Again, this is a best-of-5 set. We'll be back with map number 3 after this little halftime break. Don't go anywhere. Go and get a map 3 just after this. Welcome back to Chinese Contenders. I hold shift with PkMnPanda. We've got ourselves a good one so far. Team CC taking the 2-0 on Nepal. Blizzard World, a little bit more one-sided. A 3-1 map victory there for Bilibili. So we're tied up 1 map apiece here, Panda. Going into Hanamura next. Well, I mean, this is one of those question marks when it comes down to it. We've seen Bilibili stick with their tried-and-true 3-3. There's been a little bit more fluctuation from Team CC. Are we expecting to see Sombra or potentially even May here from the Team CC?
I would probably expect that too. We saw in our previous series, we got to see a good old bunker composition, and that's what a lot of individuals like to play. A lot of teams like to play that bunker composition on 1-3-4. A lot of good enabling on there too. You can definitely play Sombra against it. So if Bilibili Gaming try to attempt any of that nuttiness, it's going to get shut down. But why would you if you're Bilibili Gaming? You have a really strong 3-3 composition, as you see them rolling out, tried and true across the board. You can see the silhouettes in the background as well. It's going to be a mirror matchup. I think Team CC are kind of shook that the hard reads coming through against from the translocator is more or less being snuffed out. Bilibili Gaming, Team CC are going to play this straight up. No Ana on the board either for Mango.
Oh, I was going to say, there are so many low health pulls. Mika is forced forward just to try to heal up the front line and actually gets picked out by Mango Jai. So an opportunity for Team CC to get a little bit of an advantage in the ultimate economy. A little bit of a Zarya one-on-one just as that fight dissipates. No big problems. Bilibili will reset. But again, big advantages when it comes down to what Team CC is able to bring as far as the ultimate charge so far.
They hardly find an advantage, though. I mean, CO not getting any sort of extra ultimate charge. Coldest is actually lapping Mango J, and Mango J found that first pick. Look at how much space Bilibili Gang just walking in and cleaving through.
I was looking at Fearless. He was at 78% to an Earth Shatter, but does get absolutely melted. CC trying to fight back, though, even though they've lost their Reinhardt. Will find a high charge Song Boost to help in the effort, and very close to a Graviton Surge already. Was trying to get focused on, but will melt through. But Mika will also help out the contest and find the one little bit of damage that was needed to take down Song Boost. And now BLG with a very big advantage, and it looks like this should surely be capture at A. Just comes down to, will any staggered spawns come out for the recontest? It looks like the answer will be no. The delayed death coming out of the VKs just slightly, as you want to get that capture as fast as possible. Looks like Bilibili will open up with point A pretty quickly.
No doubt about it. Fearless is finding a lot more damage off with the fire strikes, but Over's finding a lot more space with the cleave. Just the simple primary fire from the Reinhardt player of Bilibili Gaming, just plowing through Team CC, carving through the space. Team CC are about to get their ultimate charges online. They're about to have a bigger bang combo. Could be set up by Fearless's Earth Shatter. You see Shy just getting the information. Team CC are just hanging out up top. They have their own bigger bang combo walking in here. Oh, I'm sorry. No, as Zijin out of mech. They need to play this very patiently. Actually, wait for that mech to come back through. And then they can start building up to their combo, just 8% shy of it. But Bilibili Gaming do have double support ultimate online. CO's been really off-tempoed with their sound barrier. They can end up stumping this out and create a snowball opportunity as you see them rotating all the way around. They're going to force Team CC down to the point and make them play straight up.
I like it. That's exactly what Bilibili has found their advantage previously. Just heads up 3-3. Just take it on forward. Here it comes. Initiation coming through. Shy gets mini stun for a little bit, but looking for an opportunity to drop his Graviton Surge. It'll start off with Team CC initiating the fight. Self-destruct sequence being thrown on. Zijin, well, of course he's found one. That's Fearless down. He will not be able to remech in time, so Team CC thinking that they can fight this will pop in a sound barrier, but BLG have come up on top of the kill feed once again. JWJ doing what he can to try to sustain his frontliners, but there's just no damage here, no frontliners here. Zijin will actually make a swap as he comes out of spawn over to a Sombra. Fearless will try to fight things back with an Earth Shatter. Shy, still at 100% charge, is starting to fight this one back. Fearless down once again, but Shy getting focused out will very narrowly catch himself. Repair pack to keep him alive, but it will actually force Bilibili down to the low grounds. They have to take the long way around to try to recontest. No ticks of progress yet.
Very rare circumstance of Bilibili Gaming. They lose one member and they are able to come back onto the point for a re-engage. Fearless overstepping their boundaries. One tick over, 56%, 60% to an EMP. They can charge this in the middle of this fight. Team CC not having the focus fire they need to finish off their food.
VK out of mech. Shy getting closer to the Graviton Surge, is just holding W forward, looking for a possible way just to lock everybody down into spawn, probably, as that will be the next big level of contest from Team CC will come in staggered fashion. There's the Transcendence. Graviton Surge right on top of the point, waiting for this Transcendence to fade away, but it is able to find Over with the charge, and, well, Bilibili, we talked about it. They've been looking more solid in their heads-up 3-3 comp battles, and once again, that seems to be the narrative here. It will be a desperate Graviton Surge coming in for Team CC, but they're coming back in staggered fashion off the respawn. Bilibili able to clean up Hanamura very quickly, 2-0.
Bubbles there from Shy. He's seems to be getting stronger. It's almost like that control map was the hyperbolic time chamber for the Zarya player. Bilibili Gaming able to come through a little bit more strength, a little bit higher of the charge rate as well. It's really good work all the way through. Bilibili Gaming recognizing that they can end up winning out in the 3-3 warfare because of their focus fire, and that's where Team CC are not having a good time.
Well, let's get somebody in who will help us have a little bit of a good time. LaFon, want to bring you back into the conversation here as far as what you've noticed. Again, this mirror 3-3 seems to be tilting in favor of Bilibili.
I think the biggest thing here is that Bilibili, they left the... I think control is always the toughest one to judge because of how open it can be, and I think Bilibili, they felt the same way. They left that behind, and they played out their style in their later two maps. And so far in Hanamura, this comes down to them just finding that open aggression and using the superior mechanics that they've got to really re-engage on CC. One thing that happens on point A that kind of sets up for point B as well is that even though they lose the first fight, they lose it so cleanly that Team CC doesn't build ult charge, and that buys enough time for them to recontest. And Coldest, again, we've talked about how strong he is mechanically. He last Bango J, and then they have the opportunity to walk back in, and again, off the superior mechanics, win out the fight there, then leading into an ult battle on to point B. So I think here for PLG, the big story so far for me has to be that, again, when the cards are down, that they're more than willing to just go out for and play for the victory, which is the first time we've seen BLG do this in quite a while.
Well, it seems like it's coming down to that aggressive playstyle again, is actually forcing that front line into very awkward spots. Thank you so much for jumping back in, LaFon. We'll take a look to see if Team CC can make some adjustments here. They'll have to do so on the offense. We'll shoot out a Sonic Arrow and then immediately switch VK back to the Zarya, but they will be coming out of spawn here with Song Boots on the Sombra first and foremost.
Regardless of the fact, Bilibili Gaming will get a full map reset, 4 minutes and 6 seconds in their time bank as well, Shift. So Team CC really need to keep their heads in the game and need to play this game effectively. Song Boots on the Sombra could end up giving them the favor. Over is now on the Winston, so they need to be careful. Isolated targets are definitely at a high cost, especially against the Sombra 3-2-1. They disengage timely, and that's what Team CC need to do, just like Bilibili Gaming is. They're finding these opportunities very timely now on Assault.
Well, that little bit of unexpected play here with Over on the Winston allowed him to get now up to 70% charge. He's already so close to a Primal Rage, and Fearless again down first, as I think he was booped forward once again by Mika, who's getting himself very aggressively involved. Now it just comes down to bodying out VK and the Zarya. Primal Rage earned, not needed to be utilized yet. A very clean first hold from Billy.
Yeah, it's not cleave damage when Over's on Winston. It's called carving. It's a newfound damage tactic here from the Winston player Bilibili Gaming. Very high level too. You see just how fast they're able to charge up that Primal Rage. Team CC to no answer. Songboost is playing very passively. Can't even find his way in. Good spy checking coming through. Can't even stealth his way through. Is getting caught out time and time again. It's about to charge up to an EMP. Could be the opening, but Bilibili Gaming, they have the Transcendence again. Songboost needs to get back there. Good. Coldest finds him. He wasn't even trying.
Just throw out the orb, see what happens, and well, the lottery ticket hits today as Songboost falls again just before EMP comes out. This is a lot of extra time in favor of Bilibili's defense here. And with how this front door has looked, you have to think if you're Songboost, you're just going to have to translocate YOLO EMP to see if it hits.
You have to almost, but you have to get back to the Coldest, and Coldest is going to react timely against that translocator. You see, it wasn't even close enough.
No, it only hits 3 and over. He'll be able to come out of this one with Shy with a Graviton Surge here. He'll be able to hit a Primal Rage if he needs to. It will be trade for trade. Big Earthshatter from Fearless. He's looking to cleave through, and, well, Over will put himself in the Primal Rage, but he's one of the last ones left alive. The Sound Barrier also utilized to try to support this defense, but it's a 3-on-6, and things are not going in favor of Bilibili. Fearless able to come up clutch with the Earthshatter.
Good ultimate cycle there from Team CC. That's how you have to play this first point. You have to cycle through accordingly, recognizing that you had the opening. Over had to invest the Primal Rage, didn't have it to stagger through. After the EMP came off, got the Transcendence out, VK grabbed everybody up. Unwarranted group hug inside a close quarter situation with Fearless shatters 5, and that's going to be the point. Took a little bit longer than expected, but they do have 5 minutes to attack onto point B. And Songboost did charge another EMP in the midst of all of that. CO does have the Sound Barrier to answer back in the middle of this fight. While Zijin does have the self-destruct, Shy is nowhere near the Graviton Surge. They don't have combo online. They just need to continuously spy check for Songboost around these corners. Oh, gets the hack off. They know he has it.
Okay, here we go. Looking for an opportunity to move on forward. Songboost will hit the EMP, and it finds 4. Actually, pardon me, 5. Mika was also hit by that. So Nesu Yakuma with the rally coming through. Is that enough to sustain? The Sound Barrier committed offensively for Team CC. Nothing else in the tank, though. As a self-destruct sequence from Zijin's able to take down Songboost. Shy able to clean up Mango Jai as well. Leaves it with a 6-on-4 favoring the defense. And Bilibili will start to pick apart the pieces. A really good hold. That was the snowball potential that Team CC needed and give themselves a chance here.
Now here's the struggle, attacking on a point B. Team CC, VK, very close to where Graviton Surge could get it up in this fight. Almost want to think that they would have to swap over to the tried and true 3-3 and play that straight up composition, because that's how Bilibili Gaming are snuffing them out. This is kind of looking just like the beginning of Blizzard World here, Shift. And now Bilibili Gaming are playing the Resource War. They have the EMP ready for this, or they have the Transcendence ready rather for VK's Graviton Surge when it ends up coming around. Shy has theirs. Mango J ready to answer back. Team CC can fight this back timely, but they don't have enough resources to keep everybody alive in the middle of this fight. Bilibili Gaming are playing this very methodical, and they're going to be able to win this out in the long game.
Well, and at this range, Songboost is seriously just tickling Bilibili on that high ground, not even really farming up that much charge, just up to 40% as he came in with 28. Fearless, though, does have an Earthshatter. Shy with a Graviton Surge potentially for the response or the initiation if the defense so chooses. It looks like they will use it as a response as they back away from the high ground and look to see what Team CC want to do. Looking like they want to head down this staircase. Shy, again, just posturing a little bit deeper, waiting to respond as much as possible. Team CC, a ton of ultimates ready to go. Comes down to when do they want to fight this and when do they want to commit to potentially shaking the defense off. There it is. Graviton Surge for Team CC to start things off. Fearless will hit the Earthshatter immediately after. Looks like it will be a Transcendence. Now here comes the Earthshatter. It does put a couple players down, and Shy did pull out a counter grab, but didn't really find a whole lot of value. So posturing and positioning, favoring Team CC. EMP able to come through, and it finds 5. The Sound Barrier's here as it was utilized just before the EMP came out, so the sustain is decent, but not good enough. It will have to come on the crutch of Over, potentially finding another Shadow. They are down 6v5. Team CC looking to recommit back onto the point. Over gets stunned out and taken down. Zijin looking for the hero play with the self-destruct sequence to only find 1, and it looks like Team CC still have the damage to push back forward, plus now they have a Sound Barrier to get aggressive with it, and it just comes down to can they take any more eliminations away. And to be honest, Bilibili is doing a pretty decent job of this soft resetting and not allowing a lot of capture percentage to come through. The Transcendence is here. Over able to find himself an Earthshatter, but it doesn't really lock down too many players. Trades for trades, but Bilibili have at least pushed Team CC back for now.
Yeah, the self-destruct was actually a heroic play from Zijin, able to find Fearless, but it was all because Yakumo found the shield bash onto Fearless to lock him down into place. And what Team CC did very poorly is they all split off. They had nobody to regroup on, it seemed like, and they just staggered. Shy again with the timely right, like you saw, he turned back, he was like, what?
Thank you very much.
It's the same thing that's happening. Songboost's positioning has been very lackluster these past 2 map shifts, not finding the value into Sombra, getting picked off by Coldest here on first point when not even looking for him. Same thing just happened from Shy from a right click. Songboost needs to be more aware, needs to be a little bit more, I guess, patient with how they're playing Sombra. You can't always just throw yourself in, not to the same degree as you would say even Haker or Evil X does. Team CC now has a 5-pack ultimate, about to have 5-pack rather. While they walk in, Bilibili Gaming can answer back with their own Graviton Surge, but they don't have any support ultimates to fight against it.
Translocator tossed out, not able to find anything though, so it'll be Team CC supplanting the high ground positioning that was held by Bilibili, and they're going to once again rotate around the backside through this tight, narrow staircase. Shy looking to set things up. EMP comes down, but it only finds a couple of players, so there's potential to fight this one back, but Over is down, so Shy committing this Graviton Surge into a Transcendence. He will not be able to find a lot of value as far as eliminations in the back end. It looks like Team CC have finally found themselves an advantage, but they do lose Mango Jai. Fearless still has an Earth Shatter. VK still near full charge. Will also help out in the damage department, but again, Bilibili not actually faltering all that much. Still a 6-on-5, and they're going to have ultimates to come back through. More importantly, there are support ultimates. Coldest holding on to a Transcendence. He'll finally commit it. Fearless looking for a Shatter. We're going to find a lot of the left side flank, but again, the Transcendence is keeping everybody healthy through it, and now the Sound Barrier is committed. BLG is going to fight this one back. Over still has an Earth Shatter to utilize if he even needs it, which he won't. Team CC again with the Stark advantage and the ultimates not able to capitalize.
Yeah, Fearless charging on that Graviton, or inside that Earth Shatter too, was just not the play into the middle of Bilibili Gaming. Not everybody got knocked down. It was trying to look for the DMech, and Zijin found a lot of value off that. It was going to have a self-destruct to go along with Over's Earth Shatter. Bilibili Gaming now setting themselves up. This is last fight territory. Team CC going to have the EMP to fight in here. CO finally has the Sound Barrier to commit into the middle of the team fight. Needs to be timely and wary, and needs to use this so that way VK can build up the rest of this Graviton Surge before Coldest gets this Transcendence. We know that even though Coldest is at 40%, can probably build it up here in the beginning of this fight.
If you're Songboost, you have to hit this front line. You have to hit it fast. You have to hit it quick. You need to be able to follow things up. Earth Shatter from Over, not able to find anything. CO will commit the Sound Barrier defensively. Shy very close to a Graviton Surge. Songboost, does he get stunned out right there? Not, it would look like he was going to translocate for the EMP. Now he's able to hit it. It does find that front line, and immediately Over's taken down. Shy trying to stay alive, won't be able to sustain through it in overtime. First tick of progress comes through. Looking for the second. That one will also be capitalized. Coldest is so close to a Transcendence. The contest comes through in the nick of time, and Coldest immediately hits the Transcendence as soon as he gets on point. Zijin, though, will still be taken out of mech, and the Shatter from Fearless. That'll be enough to clean things up. It takes Team CC, a very long time to do this, though, so they will complete this in overtime. Best case scenario is a draw.
Yeah, and that's what you really hate to see too, is that your condition not even in the win department, now in the draw. And like I said at the beginning of that round, Bilibili, they have a full map reset. You start the game with 4 minutes, they have 4 minutes, 6 seconds. That's 6 seconds more of a, I guess, a little dance party that can happen in spawn where they try to wait to see what the composition is going to be for the defending team at that point. But you know, Bilibili Gaming again, winning out the warfare in the neutral, catching out Songboost timely every single time, it seems. His positioning is just so out of place that it just always seems that Team CC is in a 5v6. I'm still sitting here questioning about what CO's exactly doing in these off fights and downtime. Very slow to charge out these sound barriers. Mika is always ahead of him by a solid 20 or 30%. It could just be the engage times. It could be them looking for the engage to follow up on the hack. The hack doesn't come through from Songboost. Because if you notice, even the hacks aren't necessarily there unless it's, say, onto Zijin, when the Divas defense match in front of the Sombra for some reason instead of canceling the hack. You can end up finding a lot of value off of these hacks, but when you don't is when you give up the amp ability, when the Lucio is actually shut down. And CO is very slow to these sound barriers, which throws them off tempo. It takes them so long to charge the sound barriers, and then they don't have them for the engagement, so you kind of just fight against yourself on when you're supposed to be using that. And Team CC are not sustained in the middle of the fight like they're supposed to, and that's where Bilibili Gaming are really fighting themselves ahead. Even when Shy is missing out these bubble timings, it gets made up by Zijin's defense matrix timing or by the supports of Mika and Coldest. Even Yakumo too, with the shield bash, the Inspire uptime has been absolutely stellar for these past 2 maps.
Well, as we go into the next round here, Team CC is going to come to the defensive battle with the tried and true 3-3, but with the Winston instead of the Reinhardt here. Maybe they took some inspiration from how Over was able to successfully rock the Winston on this first point defense. Bilibili rotating through the pagoda up top to the right-hand side and looking to get into the backside of the point. Jumping on in is going to be Fearless, living up to his name so far, and Songboost near 100% charge as well. First elimination comes through. That's onto Over. Shy immediately falls, but no one's on the point! Oh my goodness! Catastrophic failure there from Team CC to hold on. Panda, I'm not gonna lie, that one caught me by surprise because that fight was all happening on the right side of the point, respectively, for us. But all it took was, again, like you mentioned, Pika just standing on point. He's able to capture by himself.
The Team CC didn't even know what was happening in the middle of that fight too, but that's kind of like what happened on Blizzard Worlds for Bilibili's attack, and that's exactly what you just saw there as well. It's just Over able to walk forward. It's not called cleave damage, it's called carving, and that's exactly what they're able to find. So much spacing, just forcing CC into that back right corner, and got Milliwapped in the neutral, and that just allowed Mika to get the easy clap, 33%.
Wow, and I honestly feel like the way that map ends is kind of telling us a true wrap-up of how this map and this set has really gone over the last 2 maps for Team CC. Just the little things just going catastrophically wrong. You even bring back to the early parts of their offense, really even the late parts of Team CC's offense, again, just with a huge ultimate advantage. But let's be honest, they're not able to capitalize off things like EMP in the front line or even finding a couple of the support line. It just hasn't been quite the follow-up that we saw from Team CC from Nepal. Is it just down to map set specifically? I mean, it just feels like everything's starting to go wrong for Team CC at the moment.
It's the play style that they're playing the 3-2-1 as well. LaFon touched up on it, and we can make a reprise of it now, is that when you're playing the 3-2-1, when Songboost is playing the Sombra, is that conditioning. The translocator needs to be more versatile. You can either go for it aggressively, or you need to go for the more stealth style and decloak behind the Zenyatta and EMP them. Even if it's a 1 or 2 value, if you catch the Brigitte that's guarding Coldus as well, if you catch your Kumo and Coldus out, then it's going to be a high value EMP because that's when you need to aggress onto them. That enables the rest of Team CC to find value. It was Team CC catching Bilibili Gaming off guard, probably in control, as we loaded in some of these highlights here from Salt. You see some of the attack coming through from Shy, the high energy, good tracking, and good damage coming through. It's all that control that I'm talking about, some of that carve damage when they're running the Rhine Goats. But what catches them off guard back on control shift is because it was their tempo, and that's exactly what Team CC needs. They need to play their game, but when they leave one target isolated is where Bilibili Gaming is going to be able to find themselves ahead. When they're down in a resource, or even when one member is just slowly staggering behind, the shield bash isn't on there for the Brigitte player, one member is always going to get cut down from Team CC, and Bilibili Gaming are going to recognize that. They are a tried and true 3-3 team, and they know how to play the matchup very well.
Yeah, and really that Earthshatter from Fearless is one of the only real shining moments for Team CC in that first offense. See if they can clean things up, though. Bilibili currently up 2-1 in the map count. Again, a best of 5. We'll head to map number 4 just after this break. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Watchpoint Gibraltar is going to be map number 4 for us. And again, Bilibili able to find themselves 2 straight maps, find themselves up 2-1. I hold shift with Panda. And, well, this is a map that we would anticipate would favor Billy just previously on their more recent results, as this has been a little bit of a crutch here for Team CC, not able to find a lot of success here on Gibraltar throughout the season.
Yeah, Bilibili Gaming just walking out. Don't take any consideration in here and just spawn so close to try to see what Team CC are on. They will recognize that there's a Diva. They're going to see the Zenyatta orbs. Going to probably hear Fearless just trying to tickle the air there, and they're going to recognize it's time to go 3-3 across the board with the Winston. So Fearless and Over feeling very comfortable on these heroes. It's going to be interesting how they play it out. Sticking one on the card as it goes through that proverbial car wash seems to be the tactic as you try to deny high ground. Bilibili Gaming just wanting to take control of this map. And why wouldn't you? High ground is so important here on Gibraltar.
Moving over towards the server room, though, will be Team CC now, rotating back towards where the checkpoint A will be. Up and up comes Fearless. I was going to say up and over, but Over was there to meet him for a small moment. Now jumping down to the low ground will actually force Over back, and he does get taken down. So Team CC starting things off nicely. VK with the chase on Diva will thrust forward, and now it just comes down to, can you find anybody else before Over can respawn? It looks like Team CC will just be happy to retake the high ground.
Yeah, I said well played not only to your wordplay, but also to the fact that VK just denying this high ground. You see where Songboost is standing right now is where VK played that entire fight, shutting down and denying the space for the entire team of Bilibili Gaming to try to get up there. Sure, took a chunk of damage from Coldus, but it was able to be there to eliminate Over as they try to escape from the fight. Fearless is actually going to have the Primal Rage early. Both Transcendences on the line here. Team CC getting low.
Oh, and Shy's at full charge. They'll use the Transcendence offensively as soon as Songboost went down. That was an easy committal call, and they'll actually throw the Graviton Surge, but it does get eaten by VK. A little bit of a silver lining here for Team CC. It'd be better if the self-destruct could find anything, but it won't. Over in the Primal Rage will start to clean things up. You got to be careful because the respawns actually are starting to come back through, so Team CC very well could fight this back. VK very low, will be taken out of mech, and that hurts a lot as far as your recontest efforts. Bilibili cleaning up the point, and they will find success in checkpoint A.
That snap coming through from Shy just making you remember why they made a name for themselves in the World Cup. I mean, tracking on hit scans can definitely go over to Zarya. Got that Graviton Surge Eden already 82%. Definitely doing good for themselves. Trying to catch a few more staggers out here. Good spacing from the right click is going to complete that Graviton Surge and have it ready for the next fight. You see Team CC actually have nothing for that besides a mirror Graviton Surge. Would highly recommend not investing that. You have to take a very early engagement. The second phase of Watch Point Gibraltar is just so short. I'm probably only going to be able to get this one engagement, but you have to use it to get ultimates out of Team CC and set yourself up for third. There's so much time over for Bilibili Gaming, but if they overinvest ultimates, could be Team CC's opening into winning this fight. Here comes the rally from JWJ.
Songboost is at 0 charge. He does commit this, but is there enough damage to follow up? Self-destruct sequence gets matched up with the Graviton Surge of Bilibili, who do also have that, the sound barrier fading away over. Now in the Primal Rage, looking to clean things up, but his Team CC finding the first elimination on the Yakumo, and they also now have a Transcendence of their own, but Over's able to take him down before Mango Jack can hit the trigger on it, so all of a sudden, Bilibili could potentially still fight here and find some success with moving the payload. It looks like it will be Team CC holding on for now.
So like I said, if they overinvest, Mika, using the sound barrier, not necessary. Coldest had to answer against the Graviton Surge, sure. But then the Primal Rage ended up coming out in a very lost fight, and Bilibili Gaming find themselves down. This is where the Winston variation is going to struggle to walk through these points. They don't have easy terrain advantage. You see VK again taking full advantage of the high ground, has the the self-destruct available, throws it out.
Looking for an opportunity to find anybody, but it gets caught on that turbine right underneath the Aurora, and it will be now Fearless jumping on in with the Primal Rage, but already falling very low, and Shy's able to lock in a lot with the Graviton Surge. The Transcendence is there, but it's not enough to keep CEO alive, and Team CC are starting to fall apart. Shy at full charge is just looking for targets to take down. Will be able to help out with Song Boost. The Primal Rage also being committed for Over. He's able to charge that so quickly, and Bilibili are just cleaning up the pieces from here. This will be Bilibili moving through and getting this payload at least close, if not fully through checkpoint B.
Yeah, Over again showcasing how fast he can charge a Primal Rage, doing a great job at that. Had another one in the middle of that fight, and it just came down to the deny. Zijin didn't have the self-destruct available, but it was the follow-up after that, especially getting out CEO. Over is just finding a lot of damage, a lot of good cut down. Oh no, Team CC tried to recontest, and now they're going to stagger themselves. So much more ult charge over to Bilibili Gaming here.
So dangerous, and they can get staggered kills along the meanwhile as well. Try to get VK out of mech, won't be able to quite do it successfully. Zijin will take one more poke with the micro missiles, and Over will actually follow up, and they're actually able to take JWJ down just before everyone else was able to get back into spawn. So Bilibili, this is going to result in a lot of free push here for the payload.
And look where they're setting up too. Zijin again, holding onto the self-destruct. It's basically a third life at this point, but now they have combo, able to hold on to it for that long. Team CC do have the support ultimates available, but CEO has yet to show this entire series that they can use sound barrier defensively against the self-destruct. So here comes Over, Primal Rage available. He's going to try to split everybody from Team CC apart.
Song Boost looking for a way to use the Graviton Surge. Will drop it in as the sound barrier is also utilized. Right on top of the payload, it comes Fearless, able to find one, and well, there it is. VK able to get the self-destruct sequence for another. A lot of ultimates committed, but Team CC at least able to get themselves a successful defense, something we haven't seen in a while.
And that's what you have to do if you're Team CC, especially swapping over to the Rhine Goats, setting up Fearless to get an Earthshatter here in the next fight. You're going to have to go for that combo before Bilibili Gaming finds the spacing and the availability to do so, but they still have it online. Getting both support ultimates, all three, in fact, out of Bilibili Gaming could be an opening in the middle of this fight. As Mango J only has the Transcendence, there's no sound barrier available for the self-destruct.
Over committing in with the Primal Rage, just jumping on through Graviton Surge right on top of the payload this time for Bilibili. Try to hit the self-destruct sequence as well. Zijin up and over, not able to find anything as CEO was down just before. That'll be enough for Bilibili to find a little bit of an advantage. The rally fading away here for Team CC. Trying to hold things on defensively. Zijin from the high ground. Is he able to find enough defense, though, as Songboost able to come right on through very nicely. Fearless will be thrusted on through, but Songboost potentially with the opportunity to recontest this as he's very close to a Graviton Surge. They take down Over as well. Will they commit? It looks like not quite. They'll be happy enough just pushing Bilibili back for now.
Yeah, and that's just really good shield and charge management from Songboost. Not committing the Graviton Surge to clean up that fight, forcing Over into the Reinhardt, recognizing that these shatters need to be blocked. It was very lucky that Fearless just ended up throwing the Earth Shatter into the bubble when Over was still on Winston. Bilibili Gaming really struggling finding the neutral engagements here, and that's just because VK is just controlling the high ground so well.
Graviton Surge for Team CC, starting things off, but it will be Coldest responding with the Transcendence. Now Fearless with the Earthshatter, able to drop it, does find two. That's the front line. Over's being focused, but he's able to be sustained right back up. Nice little repair pack being put through, and his shield is also very healthy. Yakumo now with the rally. Will he commit this for a potential re-engage? Only thing to worry about as far as the defensive ultimates are the Transcendence, as well as the self-destruct sequence. There's Yakumo, able to start things off with that rally. Looking for potentially Shy to drop in that Graviton Surge to get things moving. DK not able to find anything off the self-destruct sequence. Tools are running out here for Team CC. It will be the sound barrier first for Bilibili, and now the Graviton Surge in place. Shy looking for the damage to peel on through, but Team CC are able to come back with a defensive ultimate of their own, but it's not enough as Zijin again finds itself with the self-destruct sequence, and Bilibili starting to win out the fight and getting this payload moving once again.
The sound barrier was right in time, but not enough time for the Zenyatta player, Mango J, getting cut down there. Bilibili Gaming able to find combinations there. We'll have an Earth Shatter for this last staggered fight. Team CC have to charge out. Here comes Fearless. He gets cut down immediately.
Oh, that's terrible. And now Over can hit the Earth Shatter for free. Graviton Surge does come into place for Team CC, looking for the damage. And, well, Song Boost is very full charge, but is being focused and pushed back into the spawn. Opportunity for CC to actually hold on to the contest for now, as he will be going into overtime, but pushed away. Again, it's Mika able to find himself a kill, and then a sound wave right afterwards. Bilibili will complete the map, getting themselves the first advantage at 3-0. LaFon, I'm going to bring you in early here just to get your thoughts on what's been going on so far with Bilibili and what Team CC has not been able to find successful on defense.
I think the biggest thing is, right, Panda talked about this on air just a little bit, the Winston versus Reinhardt matchup is a huge part about that. I think if you get a contest on the second point, maybe it looks a little bit different, but what ends up happening there, right, I mean, Over, he's getting away with murder. He's literally getting away with murder in the back line of Team CC in a way that really shouldn't be happening. I think one of the issues is, you know, with the amount of attention he's drawing away from Team CC, it's allowing Shy to keep up in terms of the damage race, because Shy has not been, and pardon the pun, has not been shy about putting himself into danger. And with the fact that Over is taking so much aggression away, they're unable to really follow up on taking Shy out. Because if you look at it, Shy is well out of position nearly all the time. And I think here for Team CC, there's an element of just being rattled a little bit mentally that's really costing them the map. That could cost them the map here. They close out Watchpoint Gibraltar, but you know, Bilibili, they haven't been clean. It took them to the last 20 seconds or less to finish it out. So for Team CC, you got to put it behind you. You got to put the previous maps behind you because you're fighting for your lives here.
Yeah, and this is, again, this is the map that ended up getting taken away from LG and from LGD, I do believe, in the LGE, I'm sorry, in the NXT series. And this is why Over is a very strong Winston. The isolation, the target prioritization, it's all things that you gain when you're playing the Winston 3-3. You're able to get a lot more isolation rather than the brawl that you get from the Reinhardt variation, and that's just what they're doing so well.
Team CC starting with something a little bit different. JWJ will actually fall out of spawn and bring the Baptiste to play. Interesting to see, as it looks like they're just going to be bunkering up on this payload as much as possible. Not a lot of the verticality available for Team CC to contest, and they're actually just going to dive right on through, try to keep everyone who's on the payload alive while they just kind of bunker and hunker down inside this car wash area here, Panda.
Yeah, and very interesting attack here. I mean, you can almost get away with it too. Another defense ultimate rather than the Brigitte. You get the immortality field from the Baptiste. So thrown out very early when the dive comes through. Shy just melts it down.
Melts it. Instant melt. So a lot of that's, again, long cooldowns and lots of resources committed. Team CC starting to fall apart. VK taking out the mech, and the Pilot Diva follows very quickly. Oversees low health pools in front of him. Will dive right through. And this is, again, Bilibili just cleaving, clawing, able to do whatever C adjective you want to kind of combine the power that Over has had on this Winston. Bilibili will hold very easily in that first defensive push.
Yeah, you see me just stop my point midway through. I'm gonna get confused yet again. Thank you, JWJ, giving up the Baptiste on attack. I mean, especially when Shy just burns the immortality field, you can catch teams off guard, but teams are more than wise enough at this point. Baptiste has been live even in competitive mode for quite some time. You definitely know to break down the immortality field. You don't want that thing to last through the entire fight. You won't win that fight against the drone. But Bilibili Gaming now, they have ultimates to play around with, especially with Team CC swapping onto the Winston variation of 3-3. Shy has the Graviton Surge. Mango J, 35% shy of getting their Transcendence. Bilibili Gaming are going to win this fight just off of ultimates alone. They have it on paper. Down to,
can they win it without having to overcommit? That's the biggest thing for Bilibili. This is where we saw them struggle a little bit versus T1W. Obviously, this has looked a little bit different for them here in the later stages of this set. Over diving in the background. Here it comes. A lot of actually being used. All of the frontline ultimates coming through. Primal Rage, Self-Destruct, and the Graviton Surge. It does clean things up, but you wonder if they could have gotten away with a little bit more value having used a little bit less. But regardless, you're looking at just under 2 minutes for Team CC to find this first point.
The way that Over gets the Primal Rages, though, I mean, it's basically a cooldown, right? You know, it's just again, it's not cleave, it's carve, and that's what he's definitely finding with the Winston. Bilibili Gaming having to use the bigger bang combination was the lookout over probably investing the Primal Rage just for their own life's sake. Team CC and will now have their chance for a rotation of ultimates. JWJ will be very shy of that rally, so Yakumo can use theirs to initiate this fight. Fearless jumps on in, it procs the engagement.
Really utilized for Bilibili. Oh, that's a huge eat coming out from Zijin. Song boost, that was the win condition for Team CC, and it gets taken away immediately. And from there, it all falls apart. Bilibili still holding on to 2 of their support ultimates, and their 2 big ones as well, with the sound barrier as well as the transcendence. And now, as you mentioned, over very close to another Primal Rage.
Yep, and it was a good recognition. Team CC not investing any ultimates. Bilibili Gaming turning around and not investing anything besides the rally, but it's not exactly a one fight on that. It's about to be a last fight to boot.
Yeah.
Team CC will have 5 ultimates to play around with. Maybe looking for a Primal Rage self-destruct combination. They need to sustain and use these ultimates timely. Rally first and need to combat it against it. Shy is going to get this Graviton Surge in time, and Zijin does have a self-destruct available.
CO already low. JWJ able to hit the rally very early on. VK, self-destruct sequence, right on top of the payload, doesn't find anything, and now the Primal Rage from Over, able to dive right back on through. Shy very low, but gets healed immediately right back up.
Great bash.
He's very close to able to get himself close to a Graviton Surge, which could be what's needed to clean up the rest of this fight. Might not even need it, as everyone is starting to be utilized. That Bilibili now will commit the Graviton Surge, locking everybody in place, but Songboo's able to find at least 2, so this fight's still very much so in effect for Team CC, as they do have a Transcendence as well to potentially be used. Songboo's also close to a Graviton Surge. Billy, though, able to at least clean up the Diva, and well, the Graviton Surge comes through, and it's only able to find 1. Billy able to frag out with their support line, and that might just be it. Able just to push everybody back. The Transcendence will try to come through. Nice shield bash to take down Sio, who is the one to contest, and Team CC will not be able to touch Bilibili. Hold on, and they will find themselves moving on to the semifinals, saying farewell to Team CC, but they did put up one heck of a fight.
Yeah, I mean, that Graviton Surge getting eaten there was very unfortunate,
Yeah,
too.
very unfortunate.
The off-tempo charge, too, trying out the Baptiste, not a big fan. I mean, once you give up the Brigitte and you give up that Inspire, and even not playing the Winston at the beginning of all that, too, it's just such a high-risk, low-reward composition, especially against Bilibili Gaming. Against Over, that's such disrespect. You know he's going to play Winston. They're just going to find value, too. You even saw in that final moment, just Shy, just chilling on the cart, just looking around, keeping his hand on his movie. He's like, who I gotta melt next? Because nobody was looking at him. They were trying to look at Zijin, and when they were trying to, when they lost focus of Zijin, they were trying to focus down Shy, and then Zijin found value in the defense matrix. It's just a back and forth, and just the entire team of Team CC really struggling, walking into the fight with a predetermination on who to engage on, and never finding value on it.
Well, let's bring LaFon back into the conversation, because I wanted to at least get his take on, well, that initial offensive setup from Team CC. They tried something different, and it just kind of felt like at that point, the decision kind of came down to the whole fringe of the fact that they just weren't able to play the 3-3 at the same level as Bilibili.
I think that's totally a fair thing to say. I also want to say that I think it's much like a yawn, that it's contagious, but except Bilibili stopped yawning after the first map, and Team CC just apparently couldn't wake up. There was a problem there on the later stages of their match, because I think Bilibili, the team we saw on Control, is not the team we saw on the later maps, especially not Assault, I think is where the series really fell apart for Team CC, right? Blizzard World, sure, it was tough, but they kind of telegraphed a ton of stuff. And then when they had decent play on Assault, it looked really, really bad. And then obviously you go to Gibraltar, where Bilibili has been a powerhouse, I think is probably a fair way to put it. So yeah. It's rough for Team CC. We wanted to see, I wanted to see improvement from this squad, especially coming in from last season, where we hyped them up so much, and they kind of dropped themselves. They really did. And then coming into this season, expectations were so high, right? You already had the benefit of being an academy team in Contenders China for so long, being the only returning academy team at that, and the performance they had this season was improved, and then just nowhere from there.
Yeah, and I just gotta cycle back and just highlight one thing again from Bilibili Gaming. You mentioned academy teams. One thing as far as a bridge in between Bilibili Gaming and their Overwatch League counterpart in the Hangzhou Spark, they have a very strong Winston player. And again, Over finding massive value. That defense on Hanamura was absolutely legendary. I mean, the time to charge Primal Rage, just finding massive cleave, again, carve damage, excuse me, against all of these targets, just absolutely melting them, taking advantage of the armor change too from Winston.
Right.
That's massive. That's really good.
I think Hanamura is actually, and I'm going to go back to the point I made earlier where I said that Assault was the reason why this match was lost. And I think it really comes down to the fact that with 2 minutes remaining on the clock, you have, well, 1:20 remaining on the clock, you have one good push where you have 5 ultimates, and Bilibili has 0. Well, they have 1. Which was the self-destruct from Zijin, and then you find no value with the EMP, with the sound barrier, with the shatter, the list goes on and on and on.
They never shut down Mango. Never shut down Mango Jin. I'm sorry, never shut down Coldest. I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah. Coldest was always there reacting to it.
And I feel like at that point in time, when you have a 5 ultimate advantage to 1, and you don't win out on Assault, that is the end of your series right there. Yep. That's literally the nail in the coffin. And for Team CC, you know, that's what happens. I feel like this team... Jekyll and Hyde is what comes to mind.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. There's times where I see them like, this is legitimately a top-tier Contenders team. This is a team that can challenge for the showdown. And then I see them on Hanamura, I see them on Gibraltar, and I'm like, would Alter Ego struggle against this squad? And I'm not sure, because not to throw that team under the bus too much, they haven't looked fantastic. I don't feel that CC, you know, there's something there that they need to be shaping up if they want to come into next season looking stronger, because I feel like first round of playoffs is no longer the marker by which they can live.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll take a look back at what this map set looked like as we finish things off here. Again, Bilibili able to find themselves a 3-1. This is how they were able to do it. A little bit of a scare off Nepal. That 2-0 was rather convincing for Team CC. Again, like you mentioned, LaFon showing that little bit of Jekyll and Hyde, but Bilibili able to wake up and clean things up as they went through Blizzard World Hanamura and then Watch Point Gibraltar to finish off the set, which will push them into the semifinals, where they will meet up against the team that played in the first set this evening, or morning, depending on where you are tuning into us. Lingan Esport and Huya able to find themselves a 3-0 versus 666 Legend. That'll be the first semifinal matchup. Still have some quarterfinals to go through as well. Coming up tomorrow, you will see LGD versus Flag Gaming to start off the, again, morning or afternoon or evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. And then Lucky Future will face up against T1W. Some really exciting games coming up tomorrow. You'll be catching a different crew for that one, as we will sign off and say good day to you. Of course, we have more Open Division coming up later throughout. That's been LaFon and Panda. Earlier, you caught Kenobi and Rapture. I've been IHOLDSHIFT on behalf of Ben and Capitiano on the back end. It's been a pleasure having you guys with us. We'll catch you guys tomorrow for more Overwatch Chinese Contenders. Until then, hope you keep holding it down. So long.